I chose to focus on Gamper Martino for my birdhouse design for a few different reasons. Partly because he is currently relevant, and I was intrigued at how he had made a name for himself. As well, I felt like I connected to some of his approaches to design. Gamper was born in 1971 and grew up in Italy. As a teen, he worked as an apprentice to a furniture maker. After simultaneously enrolling at the Academy of Fine Arts and the University of Applied Arts in Vienna, he finally decided to study design over sculpture. In 1998, he attended the Royal College of Art and studied under Ron Arad. He is married to artist Frances Upprichard, and they have a studio together in London. He first got widespread attention in 2007 from his prolific 100 Chairs in 100 Days project. Gamper said, "The motivation was the methodology, the process of making, of producing and absolutely not striving for the perfect one. This kind of making was very much about restrictions rather than freedom. The restrictions were key. The material, the style or the design of the found chairs, and the time available. Just 100 days. Each new chair had to be unique. I collected discarded chairs from London streets for over a period of about 2 years. My intention was to investigate the potential of creating useful new chairs by blending together the stylistic and structural elements of the found ones. The process produced something like a three-dimensional sketchbook, a collection of possibilities. I also hope my chairs illustrate and celebrate the geographical, historical, and human resonance of design. What can they tell us about their place of origin or their previous sociological context and even their previous owners? For me, the stories behind the chairs are as important as the style or even their function." It was this concept that resonated a lot with me personally, having done my own project that involved the previous life of a repurposed object. Martino has worked on a few projects with reclaimed objects. He likes the idea of upcycling. One example of upcycling are these pieces designed from reclaimed Carlo Molino chairs from the Lutrario Ballroom in Turin, Italy. The new compositions give life again to the thrown out objects. Following in a similar vein is this example of reconstructing furniture designed by Gio Ponti, one of his design idols. It shouldn't be seen as an act of destruction, but instead as an action to reinvent, rethink, repossess the object, and then recreate a new destiny for it. In 2012, Gamper visited the Mundus factory in Croatia that still makes bent wood Thonet chairs. He researched the techniques and returned to London with about 100 elements. Using seats, legs, arms, and backrests, he reworked them into a new bentwood chair, Post Mundus. Again, Gamper shows his ability to reinterpret and recreate a new destiny for an object. Martino has a few collections that he classifies as offcuts. These include pieces that he has made from reclaimed materials. These vases are all made from reclaimed pieces of wood. I think it is important that we preserve resources and, if possible, like these vases, recycle and repurpose materials, giving them a new life. Intrinsic to something that is created from a repurposed item is that of a previous life. The new incarnation of the object still holds the stories and values present in the original. These tables are unique and one of a kind. The wood for the tables comes from English school laboratory tops, Scottish church benches, and the London Patent Office. Coupled with his interest in upcycling, repurposing, and reusing objects is his interest in how communication can be encouraged through design. This includes his interest in the psychosocial aspects of furniture design. This established and Sons commission, called the Infinity Bench, was created to connect the people who sit on it. Gamper sees corners as a place to feel safe and at peace, to dwell on private thoughts and memories. Unlike other designers who avoid dusty and isolating corners, he wants to create a perhaps less polite but more compelling social interaction by using corner spaces. So I asked myself the question, how do some of Martino's approaches apply to a birdhouse? He likes unused spaces, social interaction, upcycling, and repurposing objects. It's then that I realized birds are already doing a lot of what Martino is looking to accomplish in his designs. When a bird builds itself a nest, they take unwanted objects and make use of neglected spaces. Birds will often use whatever they have access to, whether it's natural or man-made materials. This includes things that have been thrown out by humans. Birds' nests can be found pretty much anywhere. After sketching some ideas of how to turn old birdhouses into a new one, or repurposing a dead tree into a birdhouse, I decided to try and push the social and recycled aspects for my birdhouse, trying to take things birds already do and push them to have more interaction with each other. When I contemplated things that birds already do socially, I thought about how birds congregate on telephone wires. From that came the metaphor of not only having their own social area, but habitating a source of communication. This led me to the idea of tin cans on a string that we used as kids. Tin cans are about as trashy as trash gets. Using them as a birdhouse gives them a new, perhaps more noble existence. They also bring with them the fact that at one point they probably held food and provided humans with some kind of nourishment. Now they provide birds with a different kind of basic need: shelter. The wire connecting the two birdhouses serves as a kind of way to playfully connect the neighboring birds. Maybe from overhearing each other, they will realize that they have a lot in common, and they'll become best friends. I felt the tin can metaphor was appropriate and applicable to Martino Gamper's design motives. It gives something discarded new life while bringing the legacy of its past life. It can reside in unused spaces, and it encourages communication and community between the birds.